It's our second trip of the winter, and this time we were doing something a little different. We were backpacking into a cabin in the Selkirk Mountains of northeastern Washington. We'd spend a night at the cabin, and then we planned on backpacking further into the wilderness and hammock camping on the second night. On the third day, we'd hike back to the cabin, spend our last night there before hiking out the next day. Well, the easy part of our trip is over. We've been following this snowmobile track, but now we have to turn up here, cut fresh trail to get up to the cabin. Uphill the whole way. Since we were going into a cabin, we brought a lot of extra luxuries that we wouldn't normally bring on a backpacking trip. The sled was heavy. We took our time the next morning, enjoying the cabin and our coffee. Eventually, we got our gear together and prepared to move out. We didn't have a specific destination in mind, we were just going to a general area. We'd find a spot when we got there. We've been at it only about an hour, just over an hour. We're in a couple miles. Oh, been tough going. I think we're gonna take off our snowshoes now. Real brushy, spotty snow. Now we're aiming for this plateau that's on the map, so hopefully it's got a decent view when we get there. We made it to the plateau and found a spot with a nice view of the valley. We had to clear out quite a bit of brush to carve out a spot for our hammocks, though.
Travis was just standing on through the trees. Not too far from where we set up camp is this seasonal little stream. Now I am going to hike straight up this thing. So here's the top of it. You can't even hear the water from here. This is the logging road we're actually camped on. So now I'm gonna follow it back to camp. This old road is just covered with alder. That was just ridiculous. I decided to get off of that and just come up through the forest.
Too soon for my liking, it was time to hike out. The first section of the trail was going to be the toughest. The brush was so thick in most places that it made wearing your snowshoes problematic. And then there was just enough snow to make sure you post-holed enough to make you want to put on your snowshoes, but then we're back to the brush thing. We were just going to have to push through it.
Brushy. Time for snowshoes.
Well, we're a little ways in now. We put our snowshoes back on, and I think we're just about to hit with the road. So traveling's about to become a lot easier. It was tough to get this far, but a couple miles to go. As we got closer to the cabin, some weather started setting in. We weren't quite ready to go back to the cabin just yet, so we stopped up on a ridge for a while. right, we've hit our tracks that we came in on. Pretty much smooth sailing all the way back to the cabin now. After a few hours, the storm started to break and the skies opened up. It was one hell of a show. On our hike out, we wanted to try something that we've been thinking about doing for a couple years, but have never done yet. Let Timber pull the sled. Come on. Come on. Timber's doing great. We lightened up the sled for him, but he took to it right away.